good evening, and welcome to this Sunday, October the 18th edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me today is Macy O'Deal and Danica Gibbons. We are hoping that Nikita Robinson will join us, as well as we want to wish Garrett Punchy Deal a get well soon. He's a bit under the weather, so he's going to take the night off, but we do have his picks, and we'll get to him for his next week's picks as well. But to start off, we're going to go down the results over the weekend, starting off with yesterday. The Somerset Trojans went down 3-1 to the Dandytown Hornets. Robin Hood and Southampton Rangers played to a 2-2 draw last night at the BAA Field. And then in Premier Division action today, North Village Rams drew 2-2 at Bernard Park with Crossroads. Somerset Eagles went down 3-1 to the PHC Zebras. And St. George's Colts went down 1-0 to Devonshire Cougars. Over in the First Division, St. David's defeated the Boulevard Blazers 1-0. Vasco went down 6-0 to Social Club, and we will have to await the decision from the Bermuda Football Association on the Wolves Island Rangers match, which was called off due to the field not being prepared. But let's start off with those matches yesterday, Maceo. You had a chance to see the Dandytown Hornets and Somerset Trojans. The bit I did see, I was really, really impressed with the ball handling of the Dandytown Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, after the game yesterday, it validated and reinforced why I picked Dandytown to win the league this year. And why I say that, I mean, the handling of the ball, they were totally dominating Somerset, and they got up 2-0. The challenge with Dandytown being up 2-0 in the game is that their amateur behavior kicks in, whereas, okay, they feel that they already won the game. So the same thing happened to Dandytown when they was up 2-0 against PHC in the Doug Leave. And they conspired to actually let Somerset back in the game. But unlike the game against PHC where the game ended up in a draw, they caught themselves after their 10-minute wobble. Kwame made some technical switches as substitutes that restated Dandytown, and they end up coming out of the game 3-1. So I'm watching the decisions he's making and how he's managing his team, and how he's getting the best out of the technically gifted players. So he's very attack-minded, and he's learning quickly as to say the more he controls the ball, the better he becomes defensively. Yeah. So he's using the concept of controlling the ball, attack, to be about a defensive team. So, they definitely validated my pick for them to win the league this year.
The one thing I would have to admire about the Somerset Trojans was that they didn't give up. They kept trying. I think they were just one short of that pass in the final third, which let them down a lot of times. They created some chances, but obviously confidence is now starting to go away a little bit with the fact that they're not finishing like they want to, and with a young team, you got to be very careful with that.
You got to be very, very careful of it. From my observation, Dio is struggling to put together the best puzzle pieces. So, the players there is how do you put the players together to create the best rhythm to get the most effectiveness out of the players. So that's the $1 million question in coaching, right? Everywhere in the world, even the best coaches, trying to put together that rhythm and those puzzle pieces at the correct time. And you're absolutely right. Confidence will start to go away from Somerset if they don't start to get the results.
Yeah. Danica, when you heard the result of last night's game between Robin Hood and Southampton Rangers, were you surprised?
Yes, I was. I must say, I was. After watching Rangers last week, I thought at least, they'd probably came back, with a vengeance. And considering that, with the team that Robin Hood has, not saying they're not a bad team, but, I thought Rangers would have at least came out.
Yeah. Well, they were down 2-0, and Maceo, you got a chance to see that, but it looked as if the coach of Rangers made some changes that would have helped his team in some regard to stay in the match.
It's a couple of factors in that game. Again, my concern with Robin Hood, and the reason I didn't pick Robin Hood to win the league this year is because the lack of ruthlessness to pull the strings at the correct time. Robin Hood was very, very comfortable in the game yesterday. Very, very, very comfortable up at 2-0. And easily with a bit more ruthlessness in strategy and application to the game, that they could have blown Rangers away. What changed the match? It was a refereeing decision. Rangers got a goal against the run of play, and most people in the stadium felt that it was a foul on the defender, and the referee didn't call it, and that rattled Robin Hood. That actually rattled Robin Hood. Rather than them regrouping and composing themselves, it rattled them. And Jomar is the best coach in chaos situations. He's the best coach to pull the strings in very chaotic situations. He struggles a bit when other teams set up structurally against him. So you saw that when Kenny set up structurally against him at Rangers, he struggles to figure out how to operate in structure. But in chaos, he can pull strings in chaos to get the result, and that's what he actually done. I think Rangers at the end of the day should have to win the game.
Yeah, looking at it, obviously down 2-0. Sometimes you have nothing to lose other than to just throw caution to the wind and try to get yourself back into it, because nobody wants to be 0-3, in this league right now, because like I said at the beginning, 3 teams are going to go down, and you want to get as many points as you can the first half of the season to set you up to know what you have to do for the second half. And it's going to be important that some of these teams do not lose at all costs, even if you can scramble for a draw.
Exactly right. I mean, Jomar set his team up a bit differently. He had Kadir Maynard on the bench. He also had Stavo on the bench. So he did set his team up a little bit differently, but that initial selection was getting him run over. He was definitely getting run over by Robin Hood. But again, once the game went into the chaos situation, and he introduced Maynard and he introduced Stavo, that was a game changer for sure.
Right. And then we turn our attention to today. I do want to let everyone know that Vance Brown from the Devonshire Cougars will be joining us at the bottom of the hour to discuss his team's match today against St. George's. They pulled off a 1-0 win, and what they've been able to do thus far this season. They've been quietly going along about their business and getting what they need to get in the promotion, not the promotion hunt, but the league title hunt early. Although we have a long way to go, but you want to be in that battle, other than the battle that their opponents find themselves in following today's result. But looking at today's results, North Village looking comfortable after 25 minutes, up 2-0. And it was said by you and Nikita last week, Maceo, they've struggled against Crossroads. They've struggled. And here it is, 2 goals in a matter of 2 minutes, and it's 2-2. And that's how it ends at Bernard Park. Danica, you've seen Crossroads play over the years, and I want to go back to that when I finish with Danica, but you've seen them play over the years, and again, there's that Donovan Thompson scoring goals. He had moved to St. George's, he's going back to Crossroads, but him finally getting off the mark, do you think it sets Crossroads up for a run now?
It should do, as long as, like you said last week, with him and what's the boy, Lele, came from the Boulevard.
Ian Cope.
Yes, he. I mean, it's they long as they play together and play up front and do what they got to do, But Donovan's a goal scoring man, And like you said, me watching him over I'm watching probably the last 2 seasons or so, and he's been there, and he ain't got nobody to work with, and it's hard for him really pretty much to score goals. But having Lele up front with him, I'm sure, and I guess they're probably getting a bit together now. So
right, Macy, early in that game, 2 chances were created, both by Crossroads with Donovan being ruled offside, but his first shot was saved. He kicked the ball straight to the goalkeeper on the breakaway, but then after the whistle blew, he put the rebound away. But then minutes before Village scored, Ian Cook had a breakaway and missed the entire goal. I felt at that time confidence in both of them was lacking, and I watched them both because they came out to warm up together, and I mentioned to the person standing next to me that because Donovan was warming up with no shirt on, a long pair of shorts, socks down, I said he's not ready to play football. You don't, you know what I mean? You don't warm up like you're on the beach. If you want to get into the game, you warm up with your gear on. You want to be anxious to get started. No, he did end up scoring a goal. Body language told me something totally different. Match started.
Well, our brains light, lie to us, emotions lie to us, but our body language have a lot. So I can agree, and I had the opportunity to interview Donovan after the game, and he openly admitted how anxious he was to get on the scoring sheet, the pressure that he's been under to score. So maybe what was going through his mind prior to the game that he starts changing his approach. And that's what happens to football players. If it doesn't go right, well, let me change my approach, see if something else works. But the secret to the psychological piece of it is to keep going at it. To keep going at it, keep getting in positions, and let it come. And at the end of the day, that's what happened for him today. He, as the momentum shifted the game, he kept getting into positions, and eventually one fell for him. So he got a typical poacher's Donovan goal. A rebound came off the keeper, and he was there to put it away. So I believe that will be the catalyst to push him and Crossroads forward.
Yeah, I know they'll be anxious to also get Ian Cook off the mark as Paul Simon scored the equalizer like 2 minutes later. But I looking at it the first half, I was a bit concerned with the running off the ball of both Ian and Donovan, only because they were running similar channels, taking the extra defender. So when one got away, there was always an extra defender because the other one had brought the extra defender in. So they struggled in that regard a little bit, but then obviously things change every once in a while. And like you said, Donovan's he's a poacher. He's a poacher. He will get a goal out of nothing. Defenders must stay tight on him. But I just think that they have to work that the running of the channels for them both a lot better.
Most definitely, they're both box-to-box players. So I'll give you the scenario, the difference, and the challenge that the Crossroads coach has. I've watched Dandytown and Kwame find the solution to get Sequoia Robinson balls in the box. So Sequoia Robinson is also a poacher type striker. He's not really good at coming back into channels and playing in the pockets, but get him the ball in the box, he's going to finish it off. So this is where the difference is. Kwame Steve has found the ways of getting Sequoia Robinson opportunities in the box, and he finished it off yesterday. This is the challenge that now Crossroads coaches is to find the patterns of play to get opportunities for Coke and Donovan in the box, because they're both box-to-box players, and you're absolutely right. They want to sort of do the same thing. So, this is where the puzzle piece comes in. And as I look at Crossroads, they have an embarrassment of selection options. Now, when I look at Village, they're challenged with their selection options, so they're forced to play in a certain way. But Crossroads actually have an embarrassing amount of talent there that they have good options. It's now for the coach to manipulate and find how to fit the puzzle pieces together to start to push Crossroads forward. And the word I want to use is to be brave enough, to be brave enough to experiment.
Up at the White Hill Field, obviously the PHC Zebras got a hat trick from Enrique Russell to defeat Somerset Eagles. For the first time, Eagles didn't score first; they scored last. In the previous two games, they would score first and then got blown away. I guess they tried to do it the opposite way, but just couldn't catch up. He got a goal in the first half, and then 2 goals in the second half, and then Taj Wade pulled a goal back. But looking at what I saw with Somerset Eagles last week, I, like everyone else, was not surprised with the score because we all picked PHC to win the game rather than not have been 2-1 or whatever. But Somerset Eagles have a lot of work to do, not just looking at the standings, but right now they're playing probably what I've seen of them, they're probably playing the first 20 minutes and then they become a regular team, if that could be said. And that has to be worrying for that coaching staff, and looking around, where are we going to get a point from?
Yeah. Are you directing that to me?
Anyone.
Yeah. Well, I saw Somerset Eagles last week, right? And they're playing off the cuff. They have no clear patterns of playing and no clear system. So you can see the other teams, the majority of the other teams have a clear method that they're trying to play. Somerset Eagles have been a team that seems like they're reacting off for what the other team is doing. So it's no surprise to me that a PhD put them to the sword today, and Enrique Russell, who is very powerful, that's able to take advantage of that. His direct running, his arrogance to finish. So it's no surprise. And what I also like is what the PHC coach in Winston Coach has done with Enrique Russell. If you look at getting him to this point, the first 2 games he started, he wasn't really performing. The second 2 games, his boredom on the bench, he's had conversations with him. He's probably got on his nerves, and now he's responding with goals. So this is what man management's about, and learn how to trigger players to get the best out of them. And I know Enrique quite well. He probably wouldn't have been happy being on the bench, and now he's responding with goals. Yeah. And PHC, if we look at what's happening with PHC, they're slowly every game improving. Every game they're improving. Yeah. So it's a building that's going on. It's a building going on, and once that momentum hits PHC, they are PHC.
Yeah.
Trust me, they are PHC, and they're culturally PHC.
Yeah. Danica, having a look at Devonshire Cougars and St. George's Coast, what did you think of the performance of Devonshire Cougars?
They missed a lot of chances. They could have had more, trust me, more than one goal. They played the ball well. They spread the ball using the field. St. George's was, I don't know what to say about them. They couldn't even string 3 passes, at one point. Then, when they did get the ball, not looking up to see, just kicking the ball, kicking it right to a Cougars player, and Lejon Simmons, he had opportunities upon opportunities, but that's how it goes,
Yeah. Obviously, Maceo, you've had a chance to talk with Vance prior to this game, but over the last 2 seasons, with what him and Mark have been able to do with that team, I have been really impressed. I mean, if you look at it, they kind of keep everybody grounded, make sure that they keep playing as a unit, and I think that has done well for them. And for down the line to come, they will become another powerful, what we saw when Dennis had that team. I'm not saying that they'll win as many trophies, but they're getting there slowly but surely.
Well, I'm highly impressed with him. Again, man management, right? He's figuring out what he's got as far as ball handlers. Vance is figuring out how to use the ball handlers in the same team. So he set up a system that allows them to express themselves in the game. So let's take this. A kid, Shekai Casey, that's a North Village type of player. He's definitely a North Village type of player. He's got personality. He likes to pick the ball up and run at you. He comes in pockets. He struggled to get game under Kenny at North Village. Kenny more like structured players, obedient players. That's his sort of type of player. Now, Vance Braun is using Shekai to full effect. He's having a field day running at people. He still needs to score goals. He needs to finish off goals, but he's having a field day, and Vance is know how to use them. And again, this is coaching. It's about male management. It's about male management and getting the best product out of what you have there in front of you and creating the best system. So I'm highly impressed with what's going on with Mark and Vance out there. It's a good combination that they have, and I actually expect them to compete for the title. I really, I was a bit apprehensive. I did pick them to beat St. George's, but in the back of my mind, I was apprehensive because of the size of St. George's field, because they don't have the most athletic players out there.
Right.
But they manage the space on the field well. They make good decisions with the ball, and it's not surprising that they dominated St. George's down there.
Yeah, I think that with the experience that Vance has had in the national setup and with the academy coaches and all, the chance to talk about, and if he can get the players to understand that you play in these zones on certain fields and you can play freely at home because it's not as big, but on a pitch like Wellington Oval, you're going to have to play in zones to conserve yourself, kind of thing. And I think his knowledge of that and the players willing to listen and play, I think that's going to go a long way for them, because they're going to find themselves with that same thing at White Hill, at a place like White Hill. If they have to play at St. David's, Somerset's wide, so they're going to have to learn how to play those type of games when it comes to those fields.
Well, Vance history in football. I mean, he's got a long history in football, what Vance has been willing to do in football is do the dirty work, do the work that nobody else won't do. So, from his days up Somerset, I mean, Vance Braun comes from Somerset, and under Dennis Braun, so he's watched the game for a long time, and he studied the game for a long time, and he's done the dirty work. So because he's done the dirty work, he deals with players that nobody wants to deal with. He dealt with the girls. Then starting the girls' league. So he's got a serious education in the game. So now you're giving him tools. All of a sudden now he's got tools, and you give people like that tools, and they'll show you how to use them. So he's using the tools now.
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me, really.
Yeah.
It might surprise others, but it doesn't surprise me that the position that he finds himself in.
Right. Danica, I want to get to the first division, and obviously the shocker, and we're going to say shocker because we all picked Boulevard to beat St. David's after their performance against Vasco a week before. Against Footy Kings a week before. But were you surprised by that result at Lord's?
Yes, I was. I was over at the St. George's game, and a couple of people came through and they had said, "Oh, Boulevard had Lord's 1-0," and I was like, "What? Serious?" But that was quite a shocker to me.
Yeah, after seeing St. David's in that match at Bernard Park last week, I was convinced that there was no way that they would beat Boulevard, who in the league had been undefeated and on a roll. But when I got that score, I had to take a minute. I had to catch myself, and I was like, hold on, is this right? And it was right. And I want to say congratulations to St. David's, because I did have a go at a few St. David's people earlier today. And they'll know who I'm talking about. I'm surprised my phone hasn't rung off the hook. But yeah, congratulations, St. David's, on beating Boulevard 1-0 at Lord's. And then obviously at Bernard Park, who would have thought 6-0? We all picked Vasco following their performance of beating Boulevard the week before. But it's funny because, as I was telling you a lot earlier, the team that I saw in Vasco gear today, I don't think I saw any of those players, maybe one or two, playing in Vasco gear last year in the few games that I saw them play. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't play at all, but the games that I saw, I don't think I saw any of those guys in the team. So obviously, for that FA game, they're using other registered players who are not playing in league play. I could safely say that and get away with it, because what I saw out there today, Brian Dickinson has got his hands full, for the remainder of the season.
Most definitely. That's the inconsistency of the first division, isn't it? It both surprises me and doesn't surprise me, the result with Boulevard, because they can be absolutely brilliant one day and absolutely rubbish the next. And this is the evidence, right? This is the evidence. And the same can be said for a social club, And I would think, without seeing the match of the social club against Vasco, is that they just outpowered them. They would have been physically too dominant for Vasco.
That's clearly what it was. I mean, they were muscling them off the ball in both halves of the field.
No, you did not.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. But that's the inconsistency of that league. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of St. David's, because under Lugo, can he motivate and organize that group of players to push on from here, after getting that result.
Right. Well, we're soon to be joined by Vance Brown. He's setting himself up. So we will talk a little bit about that we have to wait on for the association to determine what the result will be from the Garrison Field match between Wolves and Ireland Rangers. Obviously, both teams showed up, officials showed up, but because the pitch was not prepared, marked out, the match was called off. Let's bring in Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, can you turn your camera the other way? Can you hear me, Mr. Brown? Okay, he's having some technical issues. Can you hear me, Mr. Brown? Maybe if I called him Vance, he'll hear me. Vance, you hear me? Okay, I'm going to let him sort himself out, and when I see him back, I will bring him into the conversation. But looking at it, every year it seems to be a problem with Garrison Field. Whenever Wolves are the only team having to play there, it would appear that there's always a mix-up with the field at least once or twice a season, which needs to be sorted out. Either Wolves have to sort it out with whomever, with the community center, or something needs to be done, because having a game called off because the field's not marked at this juncture is got to be one of the most silliest things that we can get to at this state of the game.
Yeah, I will bet everybody, all the players and everybody is frustrated, and it further puts a strain on the BFA scheduling, the referees and stuff like that. So it's something that the two clubs are got to figure out and look at to sort it out. Most definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I wonder if it's a situation just to motivate the clubs, is that there becomes, if the field's not ready, do they award the game to the opposite team? Because at the end of the day, it does become the responsibility of the home field to the home field operators to sort out your field. In
the past, that has been the case, and But I don't want to preempt that by saying let's just give the points to Island Rangers, because there could be some other mitigating factors.
Exactly.
While also the field not being prepared, did Island Rangers show up with a full team?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Was their team sheet handed in at the correct time? All those things go into the factor of awarding points. So I don't want to preempt anything. I don't know the causes or the reasons behind anything else, but I don't want to say that we should just turn around and give the points to Island Rangers and then come to find out there were mitigating factors why it wasn't, and so forth. So we'll await the Bermuda Football Association decision on that. The referee has to file a report. The match commissioner would have to file a report, and we'll take it from there. The association did put out early this morning, email came out about fans having to wear masks. Good day, Mr. Brown. Vance, can you hear us? Vance?
Right, just about.
Can you hear us?
Just about.
Okay. Turn your volume up. Turn your volume up on whatever your device you're using, and then if you can, turn it up, because if you can see yourself, you're sideways. That Cougars never go that way. That Cougars go up.
Sorry. I hear every other word saying, so I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay. Are you? If you can, turn your device. If you can, turn your device straight up. If you can hear me, I just sent you a message. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
That's on my end.
Yeah, it's on your end. Okay, he's going back out. But yeah, getting back to the Bermuda Football Association put out new guidelines from the health department regarding football matches that require all persons not just entering the grounds but around the grounds to continue to wear their face masks during matches, only removing them to eat or drink. It was sent out by the association in conjunction with the health department. I don't know what to say about that.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? I'm a definitely conspiracy theorist, because these regulations are coming down internationally, and I watch what's happening in the UK and the rest of the world as it relates to football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, football and FIFA as a body, they're the most powerful body and governance in the world. They move the world through sports quicker than any government, any sovereign government. And I know full well that governments of countries are trying to wrestle the sport under their control. So take England, for example. They're not allowing fans in the games, to be social distance, but the government's saying that we're going to give you a stimulus package to compensate for that. And you know what happens when you start giving somebody money, you start becoming dependent on that. So that could be a method of governments and governance of the world bringing FIFA and football under their control. Because they've all been trying to. FIFA's an independent body, and they're a powerful body, and they're a billion-dollar industry. This sport of football has been a billion-dollar industry. So our sport in Bermuda, we have to abide by what those regulations that come down, that get passed on. So I kind of see the conspiracy that I see happening in the sporting world is a government is governments of the world trying to wrestle what's under their control, rather than allowing it to be the independent entity that it's being. Which is unfortunate.
Let's see if third time's a charm, because we have Mr. Braun back. Vance, can you hear us now?
Come on, Braun, spring those passes together like when you're coaching, man. connect, man, connect.
Vance, any luck? Okay, all right. Obviously, he's having internet problems. As we could tell, he's there, but he's unable to get a signal to actually hear us and so forth. So what we're going to do while he continues to work that out, we're going to go to our picks from last week. And I know, again, Keita and Punchy are not here, but we'll look at the Somerset Trojans Dandytown Hornets match. All 5 of us took the Dandytown Hornets, which we all got a point. Robin Hood and Southampton Rangers, we all took Robin Hood, so no points there. St. George's Colts and Devonshire Cougars, we had a split with Maceo and Nikita both taking Devonshire Cougars. Myself and Punchy took a draw, and Danica, you took St. George's. So Maceo and Danica would gain points in that regard. One more time, Vance. Can you hear me now? Obviously, he has a maybe he's changing it around. Okay. So again, Maceo and Nikita would have gained a point each in that match. North Village against Crossroads. Maceo took a draw. Everyone else took North Village Graham. So Maceo, to this point, would have 3 points for the day. And then Somerset Eagles against PHC Zebras. Every one of us took PHC Zebras. So then we go to the first division where the Wolves Island Rangers match wasn't played, so we'll save that. Vasco against Social Club, we all took Vasco with the exception of Danica. Danica picked a draw, so none of us got a point there. And then St. David's versus the Boulevard Blazers, with everyone taking the Boulevard Blazers. So this week would have seen Maceo get the most with the win for Dandytown Cougars, the draw for Crossroads and Village, and the PHC win. They would have gotten, Maceo would have gotten 4 to move on to 12. Nikita, who moved on to 12 with 3 of the points, going from 9 to 12. Myself is in third with 11 points because I got 2 out of the games played, the 7 matches played. Punchy got 3 out of the matches played, and Danica got 3 out of the matches played. So right now it is Maceo and Nikita on 12 each. I'm on 11, and Punchy and Danica are on 10 apiece. We're going to keep trying this Vance thing because I really want him to get in to have a conversation. Vance, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I like to have a conversation, pick his brain too.
Okay, it doesn't look like he's successful on this attempt as well.
So let me just say this. Obviously, I'm taking a lot of slack from the North Village faithful for Ben Gangsom. I've been taking, and I'm sending a message out to my good friend Kevin Grant. He has to listen a little bit better. He has to listen to a little bit better as I'm trying to teach him about the football game. Because I did tell him last week that why I picked a draw against Crossroads, because of the physical aspect that they bring to North Village, and North Village struggling, historically always struggling with any team that brings physicalness to us. So I'm sending that message to my good friend Kevin Grant. He has to listen when I'm trying to teach him.
Well, I guess with the result, you proved your point.
Well, I told him that I understand the future of football.
Oh wow! Okay, all right, okay. Danica, that's a good chuckle, isn't it? Because I know I'm challenged I'm challenged as well. And I'm pretty sure Danica will be challenged when you walk the streets. Why you pick that team? How come you pick that team? And why you pick,
Yes.
hey, you choose a team or in a match because that's how you feel at the time. So let's now look at next weekend's matches because it's very interesting. We have on Saturday, we will see Flanagan's Onions host Wolves at 9 p.m. in the first division at BAA Field. I'll start with you, Danica.
Flanagan and Wolves. I'm taking a draw.
Okay. Okay. Maceo?
I'm taking Wolves, man. Wolves are gonna go down there and they're gonna handle their business against Flanagan's, man.
I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna take Flanagan's. Yeah, I'm gonna take Flanagan's. See what I get out of that. The other match on Saturday is at Wellington Oval. St. George's Colts will host Robin Hood. I'll start with you, Maceo.
That's interesting. I'm gonna lean towards Robin Hood. St. George's Colts for me are still attempting to play this expensive football versus, becoming hard to beat and counterattacking teams. So they're still trying to. They play too open for me. So with that, Robin Hood and their physicalness is going to be able to overrun St. George's Colts. So Robin Hood, I'm picking.
Okay, Danica.
I'm going to take Robin Hood.
Oh, can you go down St. George's after this? Earl, be careful what you say.
After watching these last couple of weeks,
It might be a 2-for-1.
They play St. George's. They play too open. You know what I mean? They leave a lot of room for stuff to happen. And today Clay played. He can every time his play, we lost 1-0. When he don't play, we win 1-0. So Jelani got injured early in the game, so they had to make a substitute early. And they need some work. They still need some work. But
well, Maceo, get ready. I'm taking Robin Hood.
Oh boy. Earl, if you go missing, Earl, I know why.
Because I really want a chance to chat with Vance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a call and have him on speaker so we could all talk to him and he'll be able to hear us. And we'll go from there, okay? So I'm giving him a call now. Can you guys hear the phone ringing?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Vance Brown. How are you today? Good. Not to panic, brother. Not to panic. Obviously, we just want to talk to you about the start of your season and obviously picking up a 1-0 win away from home today at Wellington Oval. What was your strategy today?
First of all, before you you're putting a lot of pressure on.
Make sure you.
I'll tell you secrets.
Today, we knew that we were going to be in for a fight, and we just had to maintain, keep possession of the ball for long periods, and we knew that they had a pretty good goalkeeper, so we just couldn't just put any shots on the goal. It had to be calculated finishes. So that was our game plan, was just to have a high intensity and make that mistake.
Yeah. Maceo, you said you wanted to ask him a few?
Sure. So Vance, I'm been very impressed. I think Bermuda knows I've been one of the highest, very critical in my feedback of football, my feedback of coaches, or my feedback of players. Because of the standard that that I come from at North Village, and Dale Russell and Punchy Dealer, Park Steele, all these people are my relationships, so I can't get away with it, right? But the question that I would want to ask you, where does your understanding of using these very technically skilled players come from? Why are you able to manage these skillful players where others haven't?
Well, it'd be remiss of me if I didn't mention, Miles Smith has been a big part this year, this season so far. But my beginning started back in Somerset. If you like, the Randy Hornets, Rudy Minor, Bernard Bringman, and then I had my uncle-in-law who was Denver Seymour. I spent a lot of time around football with him. So, and just being a student of the game. Always watching and, trying to pick up a different contact, both locally and internationally, just help me. You're always learning. I'm always looking for what's the next thing to evolve in football.
How much of that has assisted you in going from female to male, back to female, back to male? Because it is a style difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a different pace. The players are a little different, but it's the same football. So if I don't, sway from my belief in football, then it's just about personality, learning people's personality.
Looking at the squad you have this year, and Macy has already put you on the spot. What is the team goal for this season in particular?
The team goal for this is to do well. If we do well in every match, then the results will take care of themselves. We're not going to say we're going to win the league or we're going to win this, we're going to win that. But if we win our next game, then it will get us closer to winning Trojans.
Okay, and you mentioned Mark. You guys have been like a dynamic duo from last season on to this season. You've gotten the team to believe in what you guys want to accomplish, and how difficult is it trying to get those players to come on board?
Not difficult at all. Not difficult at all. Mark's done a fabulous job. For those who need to know, I've had some challenges. Working through some challenges, but Mark's been there constantly for the whole time, and I give him kudos. He's done a good job, with the bunch, and the players that are accepting what we bring. Like anywhere else in Mason, Dominica, you're gonna have pushback, but we have an understanding with the players that we listen to what they have to say, and they marry it together. So far, it's been successful. So we just hope we can keep it going.
All right.
What you guys remind me of me and Streaker, two different personalities, right? And with two different personalities, we learned a lot from each other, Coach and Streaker. And that was the same thing, the journey that I had working with Morty, working with Kenny, working with Andrew. You learn so much with two different personalities and people that see the game in different ways. So in saying that, this is what I see happening with you and Mark, two very different personalities, but a cooperation that's happening that's now impacting a team. And easily, I can remember coaching with Streaker and what the public was saying at the time, these two inexperienced guys, do they know what they're doing, and we end up winning the Triple Crown. So I'm just putting that out there for you, Vance.
More pressure.
Believe it or not, I actually coached Mark in Somerset. When he was my youth player there. I wasn't that much, but I did coach it. So we already have a relationship. We respect each other both ways. He respects my opinion, I respect his opinion, and the players respect us both. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah,
all right.
I can see that happening.
All right. Well, I want to say congratulations, job well done thus far, but still a long way to go. St. George's will be looking back for that return victory up at Devonshire Rack whenever that game comes. See?
You're trying to buy your way back to St. George's, Earl. It's not us, man. You're trying to buy your way back to St. George's, man.
And they blew us off the field rate in the preseason game, so I don't know if they were still, hoping that would happen in the real game.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, thank you very much, Vance. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You guys as well.
All right.
Sure.
Go. Yeah, that's Vance Brown there, the one of the coaches with Devonshire Cougars, but obviously coming away with a 1-0 win over St. George's today. That actually helps them move up the standings, especially with teams like North Village and Robin Hood drawing, actually helps them. But as you said, Maceo, Dandytown is the team that you think is the team to beat this year. Let's get back into the picks for next week. So we all took Robin Hood to defeat St. George's at Wellington Oval on Saturday. Then Sunday in the Premier Division, a barn burner. Devonshire Cougars are at home to the Somerset Trojans. Man, if we'd have known that just now, I'd have been able to ask Vance.
Oh, boy. Hey, he's coming with his nephew. He's going to determine who understands Denver Seymour's philosophy the best. His son or his nephew.
Well, one thing for sure, Denver's will be watching closely. Danica, who do you take?
That's a hard one. I'm going to take Cougars.
Okay. Maceo?
Definitely Cougars, man. What Vance has been able to do with his players and the motivation that they have and the belief that they have. You can see they're enjoying their game. So I'm picking Cougars.
And I have picked Devonshire Cougars as well. Now we go to Devonshire Colts are at home to Southampton Rangers. I will start with you, Maceo.
That's a good one. They both are going to need these points. They both are going to need these points, or they're both going to find themselves quickly in a relegation battle. And we know the history of both of these clubs. Between the two leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking a draw, man. I'm gonna pick a draw for this. Where's that game located? Actually, where's the
Fleecefield.
game? Is that Fleecefield? Yeah, I'm picking a draw.
Okay, Danica.
I'm taking Rangers.
Oh boy, I'm gonna take. I'm going to take Devonshire Colts.
Okay.
I'm going to take Devonshire Colts. First home game. They haven't really been outplayed. Just been unfortunate at times. And I think playing at home for the first time. Because remember, last season they didn't play at home. They played at Devonshire Rack. So this will be their first match back at Fleecefield in about a year or two. So I'm going to take Devonshire Colts. They're going to want to be impressive. I know Ray is going to want to have his players up for that particular match. And they're playing Rangers, like you said. There's a lot of history between the two teams in the two leagues. Yeah. Dandytown Hornets will take on Somerset Eagles at Goose Gosling Field. Danica.
I'm taking Dandytown.
Okay. And Maceo?
Yeah, it could be early signs for Somerset Eagles, and knowing Kwame, he's not gonna let his players be ill prepared for this match. This week, I fully see him stressing, not being complacent and keeping his players on the ground. So Dandytown, and he's found ways to get goals from Sequoia Robinson. He's been a proven goal scorer at this level. Definitely Dandytown.
Yeah, and I've taken Dandytown as well. And then the final Premier Division game for next week, we'll see Crossroads entertaining the PHC Zebras. Maceo.
This is a difficult one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a difficult one
figured it
because
would be.
Crossroads going from strength to strength, figuring out how to get a goal out of Donovan. He's gonna be motivated to keep going. But I'm gonna pick PAC because they're improving every week. They've got Enrique Russell going. They're got Marco Warren will find the back of that. He will start to score goals. He's starting to show the leadership. He's starting to accept the role that he's leading these younger players. And PAC, just as a historical club, will use that history to beat Crossroads.
Danica?
Ooh. Where's the game to?
Garrison. If they mark it out.
Yeah. And cut the grass because I did good right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Crossroads.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Crossroads.
I'm stuck with. I think I'm going to take PHC as well with Maceo, understanding that PHC with a young team are getting stronger. Crossroads still have some defensive things to sort out. I'm not sure if Tyrell is playing week in and week out with his job, but if with what PHC use going forward, the Crossroads defenders will have a lot of work to do. Crossroads need Ian Cook to score. And if he's not scoring, if Donovan's got to do the bulk load of scoring or is going to do the bulk load of scoring, they're going to struggle up front.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just to add to that, Earl, I mean, today, I think at 2-2, Crossroads should have went on and beat North Village.
Right.
But mentally, they became acceptance of taking that draw.
Yeah.
PHC's not going to do that. PHC's not going to go down there and want to accept losing against Crossroads or taking a draw.
Not
so
at
I think mentally it's going to be a difference as to how PHC approach this.
Yes, definitely. Then we quickly look at the first division. Boulevard. Oh no, that match won't be played. It is Social Club at Police Field taking on St. David's.
Oh, wow.
Danica.
Wow. Oh boy. I'm gonna take Social Club.
Okay. All right. Maceo?
I literally throw this one up in the air and pick, but I'm trying to put an educated thought process towards it. Social Club will be, and they're not going to let St. Davis come up to town and take points. Social Club.
And what I saw of Social Club today, I will take Social Club as well. They bossed Vasco today, and I think they'll have the same type of mentality against St. David's next week. The final first division game of the week, we'll see Hamilton Parish at Wellington Oval against Island Rangers. I already put down Hamilton Parish for Danica. Maceo, who you picking?
Well, the last time I spoke with Sergio, he was going back to the drawing board and fixing some defensive fragilities that his team hit. You know, he already knows that his team can score. The facts are there as to how much goals that they can score. They will blow Island Rangers away this week.
Okay.
So Hamilton Parish.
And I've taken Hamilton Parish as well. So yeah, that's it for the picks. We know where we stand in the tables as far as our picks. We'll be back next week Sunday at 6 p.m. with another edition of the Island Stats Football Show right here. And hopefully Punchy's feeling better and he can get on. And obviously Coach Keita will be on as well, and we can have our regular chat. And hopefully next week we'll be joined by another coach to discuss their match and their season thus far. So I want to say thank you both. Thank you to both of you, and enjoy the rest of your night.
You as well. You
Thank
too,
you.
Maceo.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Yes, you too.
Oh.